The gallery owner was dead. I guess sometimes playing the hero doesn't pay. My company had insured the exhibition, so I had a crime to solve. The cops would be here soon. I didn't have much time. The priest was giving last rites to the gallery owner. I didn't want to interfere. The priest was giving last rites to the gallery owner. I didn't want to interfere. Excuse me, Father.
Yes, my son.
I'm George Stobart. My company insured the exhibition.
My name is Simeon.
Is there anything I can do?
You can pray for his soul.
A senseless murder.
On the contrary, this killing makes plenty of sense.
What do you mean?
A great evil has taken place. This is the work of the devil.
What?
I am a Dominican priest. I know these things. And now, excuse me, I must pray.
1 minute I'd been planning dinner with Nico. The next I was talking art theft, murder, and the devil with a priest. There was a small piece of paper in the dead man's hand. It was too intriguing not to take a look. It read, 2:30 p.m., be ready. Innocent enough, until I realized that the robbery took place at 2:30 p.m. There was something fishy going on around here, and it wasn't just the canapes. I quickly replaced the note. In Henri's pocket was a tiny bottle. It was a bottle of Brett. The label claimed it would wake the beast within. He definitely looked better. Poor guy. Poor guy. A cryptic note and a bottle of overpowering cologne. No personal effects or anything else of substance. I needed to find where he kept his records. I wondered how many paintings they'd sold at these prices. The poster looked old. I didn't want to touch it. Spanish modernists certainly didn't come cheap. I could have bought a nice car for the price of that. The alarm still worked on that painting. I wondered why the stolen painting's alarm hadn't sounded. $55,000. Huh, shame. Just outside my price range. All I needed was a mere $65,000, and this little gem could be mine. For the discerning connoisseur, a soupçon at $80,000. Just $90,000 for this one. A Another alarm working as it should. A rare glimpse into the absinthe-addled mind of the artist. A snip at only 80 grand. The label said it was painted in 1932. The gallery wanted 80 grand for it. Another working alarm. Was the alarm on the stolen painting the only one that wasn't working? Another working alarm. Was the alarm on the stolen painting the only one that wasn't working? This was where the stolen painting had hung. Why that painting? And why kill for it? The stolen painting had an alarm, which should have sounded when the painting was removed. I needed to find out why it hadn't. So that was why the alarm hadn't sounded. A wire had been cut by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. This was an inside job. The button bypassed the pressure pad system. Cutting the wire had disabled the pads. It was the speaker cone for the alarm. It hadn't sounded when the painting was stolen. The pressure pad appeared to be working fine, but the cut wire had ensured that the alarm wouldn't sound when the painting was removed. The pressure pad appeared to be working fine, but the cut wire had ensured that the alarm wouldn't sound when the painting was removed. The pressure pad appeared to be working fine, but the cut wire had ensured that the alarm wouldn't sound when the painting was removed. The door was locked with a keypad. The wires from the camera ran into the room behind. It must have captured the whole robbery. If I could get the code to the keypad, I might be able to shed some light on the crime. The thief left the pizza box behind. I wondered what was in it. Well, no surprise there. Pizza. The guy must have been hungry. There was only one slice left. No one had noticed the pizza box fall onto the floor. I decided to leave it alone. It was Hector Lane, France's greatest art critic. We'd met before. It hadn't ended well. For a moment, I thought he was dead, but from the snoring, I guessed he'd only fainted. Time to awaken the beast. What?
What was that? It smells like the 70s. Where am I?
You fainted. The nail clippers were monogrammed with the letters H.L. Hector Lane. They must have fallen out of his pocket. I found a slice of pizza.
Now that is what I call service. Given the circumstances, that was surprisingly acceptable. Now what's been going on? Oh, Henri, is he
Dead? Afraid so.
poor chap? Just like him to steal the limelight, though.
Excuse me.
Do I know you?
Yes, our paths have crossed in the Glees Gallery.
Of course, the man with the absinthe. I don't suppose you...
Afraid not.
Pity. I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble remembering your name.
I'm George Stobart. I insured the exhibition.
I hope you have deep pockets then, my boy.
Could I ask you a few questions, Mr. Lane?
Fire away.
I don't suppose you know the code to that door, do you?
Of course. I am, after all, the curator of this exhibition. But I couldn't possibly give you access to the office before the police arrive.
I figured I wasn't going to get the door code from Lane by playing nice. I needed to turn the heat up. Mr. Lane, you're really going to have to give me the code to that door.
And why, pray, should I do that?
Because the way the cops will see it, you're the prime suspect. We both know you're innocent, Mr. Lane, but the cops, well, they may not see things so simply. I might be able to get them off your case, but in exchange, I'd like the code for the office door.
But that's preposterous. The police would have neither evidence nor motive.
Funny you should mention that. So, you and Henri, not the best of pals, huh?
He and I had a convivial, professional relationship.
Trouble is, I'm not seeing many tears, Mr. Lane.
Are you trying to accuse me?
The cops will be looking for a motive. Just give me the code to the door, and I can help you.
You're going to have to try harder than that.
An unusual painting turns up at your exhibition and gets stolen. Doesn't look good, does it?
And your point is?
The cops are going to ask some awkward questions. But you give me the code to the CCTV room, and I'll do my best to point them elsewhere.
I cannot let you into that room, Mr. Stobart. Besides, Henri found La Malédiction, not me. I had nothing to do with it.
Someone sabotaged the alarm on the stolen painting. A wire was cut.
What? Who could have got into the alarm system?
Exactly. It was an inside job, Mr. Lane.
You're not suggesting that I...
Well, I'm afraid that's the way the cops are going to see it.
That's preposterous. How could I possibly have cut the wire?
This is an inside job for sure, Mr. Lane. The police are going to be very interested in your recent movements.
I've been out of town for several days, and last night I retired early.
Just saying.
You're not going to scare me into giving you that door code, you know.
I was onto something here, and I knew it. Lane was sweating. It wasn't pretty. Don't suppose you've changed your mind about giving me that door code?
Certainly not. Give me one good reason why I should.
I might just do that, Mr. Lane. Are these your nail clippers, Mr. Lane?
Yes, they have my initials monogrammed on them.
Huh. The perfect implement for cutting the alarm on the stolen painting.
What are you saying?
Well, the alarm was sabotaged, Mr. Lane. It was an inside job.
Are you accusing me? How dare you? I had no reason to kill Henri, no motive whatsoever.
Okay, but I don't think the cops will see it like that. And I sure would like that door code. I hate to say this, Mr. Lane, but you're going to be the #1 suspect for this murder.
So you keep saying, Mr. Stobart.
So you'd been out of town and hit the sack early last night?
That's right. I've not been near the gallery for days.
Mr. Lane, this robbery is not going to reflect well on you.
As I said, I shall take my chances. You're not getting that door code.
Well, you got to admit, the cut wire doesn't look good for you.
As I said, this is a preposterous allegation.
How about some more of this?
I don't think so. As a sel volatile, it was acceptable. As a cologne, it would be barbaric.
The street was quiet and upmarket, not the kind of place for an opportunist thief. Excuse me.
Monsieur?
There's just been a robbery at the gallery.
Oh, really?
You don't sound surprised.
All property is theft, monsieur, and all art is property. Therefore, all art is theft. Do you not agree?
Well, when you put it like that, it's hard not to. What do you know about Le Lizard Bleu?
It's bourgeois, vacuous, and overpriced. Just like its curator Lane. He's always in here, you know, talking art to his latest flusée.
What do you know about Hector Lane?
Lane? Oh, yes. He drinks here sometimes. He slid away last night without paying.
Last night? What sort of time?
After midnight, for sure. If you see him, give him this bill, and tell him to pay up next time.
The check was from last night, but Lane told me he was nowhere near the gallery. This could be the leverage I needed to get the office door code from Lane. The gallery owner, Henri, was shot dead trying to stop the robbery.
Life has no meaning the moment you lose the illusion of being eternal.
Right. Did you know him well?
Can we ever truly know another human being, monsieur? He spent little time at the cafe, unlike his friend, Monsieur Lane.
Did you see anybody run out of the gallery earlier?
There was a beautiful woman with a camera. She was chasing somebody.
Oh, that must have been Nico.
You know her? You surprise me.
Can you tell me anything about the man she was chasing?
I assume, monsieur, that like all of us, he is inherently unknowable.
No wonder this guy's cafe was empty. So you and Lane aren't best of pals, huh?
The man is a second-rate critic, peddling meaningless aphorisms.
Would you like a squirt of this?
Are you suggesting I smell, monsieur?
No, sorry. Do you recognize these?
They are nail clippers.
Thank you for your consistent indifference, monsieur.
Perhaps next time you come, I will give you a coffee. Perhaps not.
How about it, Mr. Lane? Ready to give me the door code yet?
Certainly not. Give me a single reason why I should.
Guilty by way of nail clippers.
I've been away from Paris for several days and only got back this morning. How could I have cut that wire?
Take a look at this.
What of it?
It's your bill from the cafe next door.
So?
It's dated yesterday. Last night, in fact. 12:30 to be exact. You said you were out of town. You sure drank a lot of champagne last night without paying the bill. But you told me that you were away from Paris last night. I hate to say it, but that sounds like a lie to me. Tell you what, you give me the code to the door, and the police need never know. A motive and proof of involvement. Not looking good, Mr. Lane.
You are a blackmailer, Stobart.
Just doing my job.
All right. You have me. The number is 6397. But I admit to none of these spurious accusations.
I had the code. The police would be here any moment, so I had to work fast. What was that number again? 642... No.
Everyone, hold it right there.
Damn it.
I am Inspector Navet of the Paris Serious Crime Squad, and I hereby declare this crime scene open. Closed. Now, nobody move, especially you on the floor. Mo, I want a total lockdown. Nobody in or out. Apart from me, of course.
I needed to get back into the gallery, but a familiar figure was guarding the door. It was Sergeant Mou. Our paths had crossed before. Sergeant Mou, we meet again.
Aha, Madame Collard, an unexpected pleasure.
I was in the gallery at the time of the theft. Can I get back in?
I am sorry, but I am under strict orders from Inspector Navet. Nobody in, nobody out. And I must correct you, madame. It is no longer just a theft. It is a murder.
Mon Dieu! That poor man! I witnessed the crime. I've got to get back in there.
I'm sure you can make an official statement in good time.
I saw the thief. I think I can help the investigation.
I am implacable, Madame Collard.
Who is Inspector Navet?
The most promising young investigator on the force. A genius, a man blessed with almost superhuman insight.
He sounds highly perspicacious.
Madame, it is not for us to talk about the inspector's sweaty proclivities. He is about to solve his third case in as many days.
So, what's he got that the other investigators don't have?
Blood spatter. He is the world expert. He reads the entrails of the crime scene like a book.
I really need to get into the gallery and speak to Inspector Navet.
Tut-tut, he is not to be disturbed. He is applying his famous scientific methods. Any moment now, the case will be cracked. I certainly hope so. I am dog-tired and want to go home.
I chased after the shooter and got a photo of him.
Inspector Navet will be delighted.
You've got to let me into the gallery to show him.
Absolutely not.
So, I cannot go in without Inspector Navet's permission?
No.
And to get Inspector Navet's permission, I need to go in.
Exactement.
Have you ever heard of Kafka, Sergeant Mou?
Madame Collard, I do not see what soccer players have to do with this.
No, he's a... Never mind. This was madness. Sergeant Moo wasn't going to let me in. Why are you so tired, Sergeant Moo?
I have been working for 3 days with no rest. Navet is a genius in his field, and he assumes that we all have his energy and vigor.
Oh, you poor man. If you'd like to go and get some sleep, I will watch the door for you.
That's very thoughtful of you. Ha! A cunning attempt to make me a deserter, madame. A gendarme never leaves his post.
Well, how about a hot drink?
Ah, that would do the trick for sure. Unfortunately, I mustn't drink on duty. My doctor specifically warned me against it after the last... incident.
That incident you mentioned, what happened exactly?
I don't want to talk about it. All I can say is it was very unfortunate. I am on duty, and I need to focus.
Here's my press card. Do you have a statement for the paper?
Yes, madame. Stay away from the crime scene and let the police do their job. And always leave a light on when you go out at night.
Thanks a lot, Sergeant Moo. You've been so helpful.
Madame,
Bonjour, monsieur.
whatever it is you want, we are closed.
Then why are you standing here?
You would not understand, madame.
Try me.
Because I look at you, and I know you are like all the others.
The others?
The pretty women who shop, who gossip, who have their spa days, their almond croissant,
That bad, huh?
and the men with their grooming products and their shiny shoes and their skinny suits who come to my cafe and ask me for lattes, macchiatos, frappes.
I see your point.
Is this what we fought on the barricades for, madame? Ripped up the paving slabs, bled on the streets.
Isn't it?
No, madame, it is not. We fought for ideas, for philosophy, for freedom, equality, fraternity.
Vive la révolution.
And do you know what drove us on as we fought? What fueled the streets of Paris in that glorious spring? What made our hearts soar?
Cheap wine and free sex?
No, madame, no! It was French Café Noir that inspired us. The simple demi-tasse. The black, sweet taste of freedom.
So that's why you closed?
Yes, madame. I serve only thinkers, philosophers, revolutionaries. And you, madame, with your polite top and your pointy heels, are none of those things.
This is a cafe.
Yes, to the right people.
On any other day, I would have given this guy a straight one to the chin. But there was a chance he could help me get into the gallery. Monsieur,
Life is fleeting, madame. The sands of time are running through your fingers.
well, that may be, but
We know not what we want, and yet we are responsible for what we are.
there's been a crime.
That is terrible, madame. But you know what they say.
No, but I think you're going to tell me.
Life begins on the other side of despair. C'est vrai, no?
Well, I guess so. He was pushing me to the point of despair.
During the riots, we battled the forces of oppression.
Oh, really? That must have been terrifying.
It was, except that they made me stay behind the barricades with the other baristas. We made coffee by the liter to fuel the resistance. I've never brewed so much coffee. Of course, our brave heroes spent half their time going for a pee, But with our coffee inside them, they fought the running dogs all night long.
None of this was helping me get past Sergeant Mou.
Au revoir.
Here's my press card.
La liberté. Madame, you are not the person that I took you to be. You must accept my deepest, my most profound apologies.
Well, of course I accept. But why?
La Liberté, the great journal of freedom. At the height of the battle, as the tear gas blew and the blood flowed, it was La Liberté which carried the voice of our revolution to the world. I know now that you are not the kind of woman who would ask me for almond croissant. You are a true daughter of France, and I am your humble servant.
Monsieur,
The road to enlightenment is a long one, madame. Perhaps you will walk that road with me?
could we have a little chat?
Any time, madame.
How about some coffee?
For you, madame, of course. There is only one coffee that I can serve you. Black, strong, and in a tiny cup. One moment. Here is your coffee, madame.
Thank you, monsieur. The coffee was hot and strong. Did you see anything happen at the gallery earlier?
I saw you running after a pizza delivery guy. Somebody said he killed someone.
That's true. He stole a painting and shot the gallery owner.
How close we are to death. And yet how far from ever comprehending it.
Well, right now I need to get back inside and figure out what happened.
I applaud you, madame. To seek the truth is a worthy ambition.
As a journalist, that is my duty. The waiter didn't need to see my press card again. Would you make me a coffee to go?
For a fellow revolutionary? Of course, madame. One moment. Here's your takeaway coffee, madame.
Thank you, monsieur. Sergeant Mou, I brought you a coffee.
Coffee? Fantastic. Just what I need. But wait. I must not. My little problem.
I'm sure one little cup of coffee won't hurt.
I am tempted, madame, but I cannot risk it. I am sorry.
So, this incident, it involved you, some coffee, and your little problem?
It is a tale of woe, madame.
I'm all ears, Sergeant.
Well, since you seem quite understanding, I shall elaborate.
Please do.
I was in charge of canine security for the president himself. One day, en vacances, he went for a private discussion with a lady minister. I stayed alone with his dog, but I had drunk a coffee to stay awake, and nature came to call. So I tied the dog to a tree and went for a secret pee-pee. When I came back, the dog was having a liaison dangereuse with the lady minister's terrier.
But how did they find out?
Well, 2 months later, the president's Labrador gave birth to 6 beautiful mongrels. And I was busted to sergeant just after the president's divorce came through.
You are a victim of a great injustice, Sergeant.
You think so?
But of course, you knew you must not fall asleep at your post. You were guarding the President himself.
Well, the president's dog.
Ah, it was the same thing.
Yes, I suppose.
And by drinking that coffee, you made the ultimate sacrifice for our glorious republic, your career.
Now you put it like that?
And now France is calling you again. She is saying, "Drink, Sergeant Moo, drink!"
She is?
She is. Drink or fall asleep at your post. Which is it to be?
I suppose it is drink?
Bravo, Sergeant!
Oh dear. Oh dear. Excuse me, madame. I must use the petit gendarme's room. It has gone straight through me. Could you watch the gallery door for me?
Oh, you can count on me, Sergeant. I distracted Moo. It was now or never.
How did you get past Sergeant Moo? Well, you won't fool me so easily, madame. I shall question you later.
Nico, am I glad to see you.
I managed to grab a couple of photos, but the guy got away.
Poor Henri is dead.
I know. Why kill him?
I've been trying to find out. Turns out the alarm was tampered with. It looks to me like an inside job.
So, no ordinary robbery?
And no ordinary painting. The priest claims that La Maledizio is evil. I need to get into the office and see what the CCTV has to offer.
So, what's the problem?
The inspector's watching me like a hawk. I'll never get in without some sort of distraction.
I'll see what I can do. Georges,
Yeah, Nico.
so why do you need to get into the office again?
I'm pretty sure the robbery was an inside job, and I think the proof is in the office.
So, what's stopping you?
Super cop over there.
What if I create a distraction?
You do that, and I will let you have whatever I find.
That's a deal, Georges. Somehow, I had to get the inspector away from the office door. The tomato sauce had splattered on the floor. No way was I going to clean that up with my bare hands. I spread some of this sauce around with my shoe. It looked a little bit like a blood stain, but it still wasn't right. If I was going to distract the cop, I had to get rid of that gum. The tomato sauce looked as close to blood as it was ever going to. I scraped up the chewing gum with my press card, hoping the inspector wouldn't notice. The tomato sauce looked as close to blood as it was ever going to. Inspector Nave, do you have a moment?
My time is of the essence. Be quick now.
I suppose this is quite a complex case, Inspector.
It is a robbery gone bad. Nothing more, nothing less.
Surely there's a bit more to it than that.
Please abstain from baseless conjecture, madame. The victim's body paints a simple picture, more reliable than any witness statement. Consider the impact of the bullet, and note the concomitant lack of blood. A casual homicide, nothing more.
Don't you find it odd that the thief chose that one particular painting?
Life is full of odd things, madame. Fingerless gloves, white dog poo-poo, nasal hair. I prefer to concern myself with murder.
Did you see the alarm was sabotaged?
I have interrogated the crime scene, madame. I am fully aware of the disabled security. I prefer biological evidence to the merely circumstantial. Body parts, blood, important things.
Don't you think the disabled alarm is highly suspicious, though?
The forensic team will be along shortly. Voice your concerns to them. Do not bother me with this circumstantial fliff-flaff.
Why don't you check out the security camera footage?
Madame, that is not my area of expertise. It is the body which concerns me.
But the CCTV footage is evidence. It could help identify the killer.
Correction, madame. It is but an indicator. The only true evidence is bodily fluid. Unless you know something I don't, then please leave me be.
The only evidence Inspector Nave seemed to appreciate involved gore. What do you think about the American, Georges?
He is deeply suspicious.
Have you seen the stain on the floor over there? It looks like blood.
Indeed. How very curious. I must investigate immediately, before one of these idiots steps in it. Interesting. Maybe it is time to employ the machine.
Okay, Georges, that should distract him for a while.
Nice work, Nico. I'll let you know what I find in the office. I was sure the inspector hadn't seen me slip away, but I needed to be quick, because it wouldn't take him long.
At last, Stobart.
Sorry, Mr. Rickenbacker. I've been busy.
Yeah, I damn well hope so. I'm watching the news.
Oh, anything interesting?
Yeah, someone stole a painting.
Oh, really?
And it was one you insured. What's going on?
Ah, yes. Well, the guy was armed, sir.
So?
You think I should have thrown myself in front of the thief, wrestled him to the ground, got myself shot?
Sure would have made me feel better. Anyway, find that painting, or give me a good reason not to pay out. Please tell me that you have some leads.
I'm working on it. It was the paper that Nico wrote for. Nico lived for the day her story would be on the front cover. I didn't want to carry the tape around. I had a feeling I wasn't going to need it. I didn't feel the need to take Henri's eraser. The switch controlled the small desk lamp. Carrying an ink pot around inside my pocket would have been stupid. The ink would have stained my hands for days. The lighter was corroded and grimy. It'd probably never work again. I decided to leave it. The pen could have been useful. Then again, it might have leaked all over my pocket. I didn't need a business card. I didn't like the idea of a pocket full of sharp pins. There was nothing else in the drawer. The folder looked interesting. This was very definitely tampering with evidence. It was a completion of work notice from a company called Vera Security. They weren't the guys we'd recommended. Henri had gone behind our backs to choose a different security outfit. I'd never heard of Vera Security, but there was an address and phone number on the form. The calendar looked like a child's school project. Henri had ringed 27th May and scrawled birthday. Poor guy hadn't quite made it to his big day. The CCTV system was ancient. It took individual shots and recorded them to tape. It looked like I needed to enter a passcode to view the recording. Bingo. I rewound the tape to before the robbery. This was the first interesting frame. It was Henri studying La Malédiction. He couldn't have had any idea what was about to happen. Nico and I were taking a look at La Malédiction just before the robbery. Funny, the painting didn't strike me as remarkable at the time, just odd. A good view of La Malédiction. I could kind of see why Father Simeon thought it was evil. There was a certain presence about it. The killer caught in the act. There was nothing really distinctive about him. The CCTV had caught the killer in the act of lifting La Malédiction from the wall. He knew exactly which painting to take. He knew exactly which painting to take. He knew exactly which painting to take. The moment it all went horribly wrong. There was some writing on the front of his helmet, but I couldn't quite make it out. The writing was just a blur. The writing was just a blur. The killer making his getaway. A logo on the front of his helmet read Waterloo Motors. That could be useful. The painting was gone. There I was, taking a look at the alarm box. Hopefully I didn't look too suspicious. I hadn't thought about that when I was taking a look at the camera. That was the last shot. I'd got some leads on the killer's identity. A closer look at the painting might be useful. That was the most recent image. It was a small keypad. That was the most recent image. The alarm should have sounded when the killer took the painting, but it had been sabotaged. I wondered who could have done that. Maybe Lane, or even Henri himself. Or perhaps even Vera's security, who'd installed the system. Whoever was wearing that helmet was going to pay for what he did. Poor Henri. That was the earliest shot with anything interesting on it. The image was a little fuzzy, but in the center of the painting was what looked like a snake eating its own tail. I thought about what the priest said. There was definitely something unsettling about the picture. Was Henri studying that picture, or did he look worried? There was definitely more to this robbery than I first thought. That was the earliest shot with anything interesting on it. It seemed that whenever Nico stepped back into my life, so did trouble. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. There I was, looking at the exhibition. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. He knew exactly which painting to take. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. Poor Henri. Why hadn't Henri backed down when the thief pulled the gun? If that was me, I'd have done whatever the guy wanted. Why hadn't Henri backed down when the thief... The alarm should have sounded when the killer took the painting. The alarm should have sounded when the killer took the painting. The most striking aspect of the painting was a snake eating its own tail. The next shot had a better view of the writing on his helmet. Whoever was wearing that helmet was going to pay for what he did. A logo on the front of his helmet read Waterloo Motors. That was me fiddling with the alarm. Not my best angle. That was the last shot. I'd probably learned everything I could from the CCTV. The statue was jaunty. Up close and personal, I could see that the fig leaf was hinged. Thankfully, there was no one around to see me do this. Very interesting. I wasn't going to open the safe without the key. I was fairly sure that even Henri wouldn't be silly enough to keep it hidden in the office. A pair of evil eyes stared from a partially covered poster. A naked lady stared at me seductively. The sofa had clearly taken some punishment over the years. It was a statue of Henri bearing almost everything. A strategically placed fig leaf protected his modesty. Henri's notice board was covered with all kinds of junk. Henri had a model of a VW camper van painted in hippie colors. The engine capacity was displayed on the back, 1600 cc. Henri sure liked his clutter. The poster advertised a 1975 Stockholm Music Festival, headlined by a group called the Hairy Lobsters. It was a pretty flamboyant-looking clock. A pair of evil eyes stared from a partially covered poster. The frame containing pressed flowers. Henri sure had his quirks. I didn't imagine Henri as a musician. The trinkets, the junk, the instruments. Henri was kind of a hippie at heart. It was a hookah pipe. Those things gave me a headache. Henri may have been a hippie, but a hippie with plenty of disposable income. In the trash can, I found a crumpled letter from Henri's credit card company demanding immediate payment. It listed extravagant purchases from a variety of ladies' fashion stores. The address indicated that Henri lived in the chic and expensive 16th arrondissement of Paris. I decided to put the letter back. Henri's financial problems weren't my business, but now I knew where he lived.
Monsieur, sir, you have snuck in here, and now you are tampering with my evidence.
I'm just looking for the name of the caterer. That cheese was to die for.
Ah, to die for? To kill for. I put it to you, Monsieur
Stobart. George Stobart.
I put it to you that you came here in search of cheese and killed the owner in a fromage-induced frenzy.
Well, no. I'm from Paris Mutual. We insured the exhibition.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Time will tell, monsieur.
Truth will out, Inspector.
Who dares wins, Monsieur Stobart?
He who laughs last laughs loudest, Inspector Nave. The guy was seriously nuts.
May I remind you, monsieur, that a serious crime has been committed. I am going to have to ask you to return to the gallery.
Of course, but I do need to ask you a few questions.
D'accord. But remember, anything you say can be used against you, Monsieur Stobart.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind. Do you know anything about a company called Vera Security?
No, I have never heard of them. Now, I must get on with my investigation.
It's very likely that the security camera holds a clue to the killer's identity.
Monsieur, I am a professional, and you are an amateur. So, leave the investigating to me, huh, pal? Monsieur, you are American, no?
Yeah, California born and bred.
Of course. I think perhaps you are wanting to be like that Starsky and Butch, monsieur. No? Rolling around on top of fast cars with beautiful ladies, firing your gun.
Interesting idea, Inspector, but not really my style.
Indeed. Well, let me tell you something, monsieur. You are my prime suspect. You may go now, but I will need to speak with you again.
I had some valuable leads, but before following up on them, I had important business to attend to. Hey, Nico, you want to grab a quick cup of coffee?
Sure.
I am pleased to announce that I have finished my preliminary investigation. This is now an official crime scene, and you must all go. I shall be questioning all of you again in the coming days. Nobody is to leave the country, particularly you, Monsieur Stobart. Monsieur Lane will stay behind to help secure the premises. Mo?
Yes, Inspector.
Let them out.
Right away, sir.
Two coffees, please.
Nice work in there, Nico. Whatever you did, it worked.
I just made a tiny distraction, and Nave bought it.
I think Nave would buy anything if it had blood on it. You know, this whole setup, the theft, the murder, it just doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I think it was an inside job.
Go on.
Someone disabled the alarm, but on just one painting.
Let me guess. La Maledictio.
Exactly. And I aim to find out who did it. The CCTV picked up an image of the thief. His helmet had the words Waterloo Motors written across it.
Interesting. I think I got a couple of good shots of him too, but I need to take a better look at them at home.
Great. Let me know what you find. Well, the priest thinks La Maledictio is evil.
Charles, she's just crazy.
Yeah, you're probably right. But there's something strange going on. I found the address of the security company Henri employed. It was not the one that I recommended.
Good luck with your investigations. Well, I guess I should go. This story won't write itself. And Georges?
Yeah?
It's good to see you again.
Great to see you too, Nico. I watched her walk away. The sound of traffic, the sun shining, a crime to solve, and Nico back in my life. The address led me to a dead-end alley at the end of a deadbeat mall. No wonder I'd never heard of Vera's security. Hi, I wonder if you can help me. I'm looking for Vera's security.
Yes, of course. It's the shop behind you.
Thank you. The name's George, by the way.
Call me Bassam. And do please forgive me, but I'm in no mood to talk. I have a resounding headache.
Bad migraine, eh?
The worst. The buzzing and flashing from the old sign is killing me. I thought the neon sign had potential until it broke.
Is it your sign?
No, the previous owners used to be a restaurant. But this is horrible. Adversely affecting my footfall and giving me a splitting headache.
You want me to try fixing that sign for you?
Do you know what you're doing?
I'm very good at fixing things.
Then please do. I'm no good at electricals. Marketing analysis and predicting trends is more my thing.
Bassam had already told me where Vera's security was. Do you have any use for nail clippers?
No.
Smell this.
Ooh, At least it's the real thing.
I took a good look at the sign. The wiring was exposed and the cover broken. No wonder it was flashing. I pulled the wire off. Well, that was one way to stop the letters flashing. Now only half the sign was illuminated. Aha! That seemed like a good name. Hey, Bassam, how about this? I know it's not your name, but...
Aladdin. Very cool. That's a terrific name for my store. Hits every one of my USPs.
Glad you like it.
You're a genius, George. Let me know if I can do anything for you. Help!
What's wrong?
There's a monster
What? Where?
on the floor. Get rid of it.
Oh, the cockroach.
Yes, the cockroach. Help!
Come here, little fella. I was never going to catch it with my bare hands. Romanov's, a Russian brand cigarette. The pack was empty. As a child, I'd always been told not to play with matches, but I never could resist. A plan started to form in my mind, but I would need the matchbox to be empty. I tipped out the matches. Nope, I needed to try something else. I set down my matchbox. Cockroaches like hiding in dark places. Not a bad idea when you think about it. Cockroach.
Aha, Mr. Stobart. What can I do for you?
Do you happen to know a good way to catch a cockroach?
To be honest, George, I'm better at questions on balancing budgets within a liberal economic framework. But as a layman, perhaps I could suggest you trap it? And please, whatever you do, don't squish it.
Why's that?
The entire family will catch the scent and arrive for the funeral.
Ooh, we don't want that.
You need to find a container of some sort. Then I think add this.
Rich tea. What's that, a cookie?
The perfect cockroach biscuit. Dry, dull, unsatisfying, and yet curiously Moorish.
I'll give it a try.
Glad to help.
I decided to keep the wire. If Bassam knew how flimsy the sign was, he wouldn't be happy. I've got some matches.
Always good to have.
I really like your new sign.
It's magnificent. I owe you one.
So what are you selling?
Ah, I'm glad you asked. I sell all those things you can't get anywhere else in Paris.
Like?
English biscuits, Turkish delight, French cassettes, Brazilian Betamax videos.
What do you think?
I'm over the moon, George. Thanks to you, I can now sell my retro cavalcade of musical cards, brushes, souvenirs. And you know what they say, happy sellers make happy shoppers.
I didn't think there was much point. Do you have any use for nail clippers?
Nail clippers? The pocket knife's little brother.
Yeah, I like that. I'd better hang on to him. He struck me as more of an aftershave kind of guy. Do you know anything about Vera's security over there?
Not really. I haven't been here long, but neither have they by the looks of it.
Why do you say that?
Rush setup, new sign, low investment, and no customers except for you.
I added some bait to the matchbox. Even I was finding it hard to resist that little trap. Gotcha!
You are a gentleman and no mistake. I hate cockroaches.
Always ready to help a damsel in distress.
I bet you are. Can I help you?
Yes, please. Do you know if there's anyone in the office I can talk business with?
Yes, me, chérie. I'm Annette, the manager.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... The gloves. I just thought...
Ah, easy mistake to make. If you haven't been reconstructed, that is.
Oh, but I have been reconstructed. A number of times. From the ground up. The Vera phone. All expenses had been spared. Even the plant looked depressed.
Look, do you mind not touching the office equipment?
Annette's peripheral vision was, quite simply, astounding. The place looked very much like temporary accommodation. A crumpled cigarette pack. The ashtray was full of cigarette butts. The filters were gold-colored. Very exotic.
Hello, we're security. We make you secure.
I'd already adjusted the radio.
Damn nuisance calls.
I wanted to see what secrets the book might contain. There was a photo. Of course, I grabbed it.
What can I do for you?
There's been a theft at Le Lézard Bleu. A painting's been stolen.
Shame. Still, I'm sure you'll get over it.
I believe your company set up the security.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Oh, yes, you did.
Didn't.
Did.
I've got all day.
But I didn't. Do you recognize it?
Oof! That would take the hair off your legs. I had a boss who wore that. Know what I mean?
Do these clippers look familiar?
Yes. I mean, no. Why should they look familiar?
It says here that Vera was hired to do the security of the gallery. Didn't do a very good job, did you?
Where did you get that?
At the gallery.
That job was signed off. You can't say we were to blame. No thanks.
I've got a cookie.
Those dry things are disgusting.
I've got some matches.
Yes, I saw you pick them up. Keep them. I can't afford to smoke anymore.
I caught the cockroach. Look, isn't he a sweetie?
Ah! Keep it away from me!
Recognize this?
Hey, that's my photo.
That's you with Lane, I believe.
So, what if it is?
What is he to you?
Oh, my Hector, that's what he is. My little Hector.
Yeah, I thought you said you had nothing to do with the gallery.
Look, here's how it is. I've only been here a few weeks. I had nothing to do with that gallery job. I just delivered the paperwork.
So, who's the manager before you?
I don't know. She just, one day, didn't come in for work. I shouldn't be talking to you. The boss told me to keep my mouth shut.
The boss. Have you got his number or address?
No, I've forgotten it. I mean, I never knew it.
Annette, a serious crime has been committed. You're in a lot of trouble.
I had nothing to do with it. Look, I need this job. I need the money. Anyway, it's only a silly old painting. No one got hurt.
The gallery owner was shot.
Badly?
Yeah, he's pretty dead.
Oh.
This is a murder investigation. Now, who's your boss?
I don't know. Honest, he faxes me if he wants anything.
He. Who's he?
I've never seen him, never met him. Don't make trouble for poor Annette.
Thanks. I was pretty sure Annette had told me all she was going to. She sounded scared. Time to put the thumbscrews on Lane, and I knew just how. Time to confront Lane. The gallery was sealed off. The place looked empty. Lane wasn't exactly easy to miss, and it looked like he wasn't around. Hi.
Monsieur?
I'm looking for Mr. Lane. Has he been here?
Ah, yes, monsieur. He came by earlier. Told me he was off to console Henri's widow. I hope she's out.
Hi.
Monsieur?
Do you recognize the woman in this photo?
She was here the other night with Lane. They sneaked away to the gallery together, without paying their bill.
My suspicions of Lane were mounting, but I didn't really think he had it in him. Hi.
Monsieur?
Are you sure Lane's gone to visit Henri's widow?
Yes, that's what he told me.
You sure it was Lane you saw here last night?
Absolument.
So Lane was consoling the widow. What a big heart that guy had. Did he have a grand scheme or just loose morals?
Hello?
This is George Stobart. May I come up?
I'm sorry, this is a very inconvenient time. Come back later.
I know that's you, Mr. Lane. I need to talk to you. Mr. Lane, does the name Annette mean anything to you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. If you don't let me in, I'll tell the police about your interesting connection to the security company.
All right then. Come up, but make it brief.
I need to talk to Madame Dubois.
I'm sure it can wait.
Dear Lord, George, you have the worst timing.
Is this a bad time to accuse you of lying?
What do you want?
I've just come from Vera's security.
So?
What do you know about the owner of Vera's security?
I've never had the pleasure.
Tell me about Annette.
Who?
From Vera Security.
I don't know any Annette.
I'm surprised you let your conquests keep souvenirs.
Oh. Where did you get that?
Annette lent it to me.
Quit waving it around, for God's sake.
Come on, Lane. Tell me about Annette.
All right. I had a fling with her, okay? Now keep your voice down, please.
And you two fixed the security for the robbery?
No, nothing like that. Anyway, the fling was a mistake. She turned out to be rather needy.
I believe you. You're not a criminal, just a lecherous old man.
Less of the old, if you don't mind. As it happens, I make a lot of women happy.
Especially when you leave them. Can you tell me anything about the owner of Vera?
Annette told me he's some angry-looking Russian chap.
Okay, Lane. Take off.
You can't tell me what to do.
You want me to show Bijou this picture?
All right, I'm going. You haven't heard the last of me, Stobart.
Promise?
And give me that photo.
If Lane was telling the truth, that meant that Annette was lying. She said she'd never met the owner and was very keen to get rid of me. I wondered if she was hiding something interesting in that back office.
Are you going to introduce yourself properly?
Pleased to make your acquaintance, madame. My name's George Stobart.
Call me Bijou. Hello, young man. Such a delight to have a new visitor. What can I do for you?
I'm from the insurance company. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Henri, my poor sauvage. He died in his prime.
Could I just ask you a few questions?
Well, why not? A little company might just pep me up, as you Americans might say.
Henri was very brave at the gallery. He tried to stop the thief and paid the ultimate price.
Henri was my lion and my little pussycat.
How are you coping?
I'm still trying to take it in, chérie.
Can you tell me about the gallery? Was the business doing well?
The gallery was Henri's baby. He never spoke to me about it.
So you weren't involved?
Not at all. Business is not my thing.
Your record player seems to be stuck on the same song.
Yes, this song gives me great comfort. It reminds me of Henri.
Bijou, I think someone involved with the gallery helped the thief. It wasn't Hector Lane. He's not devious enough.
But who else?
I don't know. But I will get to the bottom of it, I promise you. Does this smell good to you?
It's heavenly, isn't it? Henri loved it. So?
Do you know this company, Vera Security?
No, I don't. I've never heard of them. That's lovely, dear.
Rich tea?
Why is it broken?
I was feeding it to a cockroach.
I think perhaps I'll pass. Why did you show that to me?
Hey, this might cheer you up. Say hello to Trevor.
A cockroach?
I prefer the word pal.
And I prefer the word pest. Please never show it to me again.
Thank you for your help, Bijou.
My pleasure, young man. Do come back any time.
Bijou appeared to know nothing. I still couldn't discount Lane. Annette, on the other hand, had lied about Vera's security's owner. Henri was now dressed in a cheap suit. On balance, I prefer the waistcoat. A small stuffed dog sat on the table. Poor creature. Was that a tear in its glassy eye? Two lovers entwined. Reminded me of that party game with the map. The artist was entering his cubist phase. A subtle birthmark was the only blemish on the model's flawless skin. The stereo was playing the same tune over and over again. You have a beautiful home, Bijou.
Oh, thank you. I do like beautiful things.
The subject looked vulnerable as she clasped her knees. The view through to the Bois de Boulogne was stunning. America is my country, and Paris is my hometown. The subject stared casually out at the world.
Please don't touch my things. Sherry, please don't touch my table. I keep everything in perfect order. Sherry, please don't touch my table. I keep everything in perfect order.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Truth or dare?
Truth.
And there was I hoping you'd say dare.
Henri looks very peaceful.
Doesn't he? I wish I could keep him here forever.
He was taken before his time.
He had so much more to give.
Anything else you can tell me about the gallery?
No, I rarely went there. As I said, Henri took care of everything.
What's the song called?
Jasmine, by the Airy Lobsters. Before your time, I'm sure. It's a band that Henri fronted in the 70s. They got to number 2 in the Swedish charts.
Big time, huh? Is that a painting of you?
Yes, darling. Though obviously he got my hips completely wrong.
Who painted it?
Oh, some acquaintance of Henri's. I don't recall his name.
What's the story behind the stuffed dog?
Oh, Fifi. I was heartbroken when she went. I had her preserved so that we could be together forever.
That's very touching.
Isn't it?
Quite unusual these days to bring the coffin home.
Henri loved a good wake. Said they were better than any party.
Huh. Does this smell good to you?
It's heavenly, isn't it? Henri loved it.
Thank you for your help, Bijou.
My pleasure, young man. Do come back any time.
Night was falling. Annette would have left for the evening. It was time to pay a visit to Vera's security. The empty mall was lit by bright moonlight, the perfect ambiance for a little detective work. I wanted a good look at that back office. I just had to find a way in. There was no way I could force the shutter open with my bare hands. I needed to find another way. There was an electrical box up there, but I couldn't reach it from the ground. I popped the lid open. Inside was an aircon unit and bingo, the master controls for the shutters. That wouldn't make any sense. There was only one end to attach to. In the drawer was a single Q-tip. It was my lucky day. It hadn't been used. The room was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. In the corner of the room was a pizza delivery scooter, just like the one the killer had escaped on. I smeared some oil onto the cotton bud. I smeared the gears with oil. It was time to see what was in the letter. I grabbed the paperclip. It was the letter from Henri confirming that Vera Security had the contract for the exhibition. And it also revealed who was in charge at Vera, a guy called Medovsky. At first glance, it all seemed pretty run-of-the-mill. But why was Henri thanking Medovsky for being generous? And why was he pleased to represent him? Maybe Medovsky was the owner we'd been looking for. It didn't add up. I had a gut feeling. There was something fishy going on. The air vent had a tiny catch on the side. The paperclip was perfect for the job. There was definitely something in there. Now, what are you? Gotcha. Well, would you believe it? It was a gun. And very likely the one that had been used to shoot Henri.
Aha! So, what have we here? L'Américain, Monsieur Stobart. You will rue the day you crossed my path, because now you are caught in my net like a little red herring.
Inspector, I'm investigating the robbery.
No, monsieur. You are breaking and entering an innocent storeroom.
I found the murder weapon.
Found? No. Planted? Yes. Mou, arrest this man and take him to the station. I shall squeeze you, Monsieur Stobart, until your pips squeak.
Thanks, Ronnie. I just wish I'd got some better shots of the killer.
Are you kidding? That stuff from the hip, very dramatic. You did good, Nico.
So, what's next?
Get me an interview with the owner, and you've got Sunday's front page.
I'm on it already.
Keep me up to speed. Let me know before you write anything up, okay?
Of course. Oh, gotta go. Someone at the door. Monsieur?
Are you Nicole Collard?
Yes, can I help you?
I need to sit down.
You'd better come in. Would you like a glass of wine?
Yes, those stairs are a nightmare. That's better.
So, what can I do for you, monsieur?
My name is Tiago Marquez. I saw your report on the robbery. I found your address. I came straight away. I needed to see you.
And why is that?
The stolen painting, La Malédiction. It belongs to me.
Ronnie had wanted me to interview the owner, and now here he was. Or rather, he was somebody who claimed to be the owner. So the stolen painting is yours. Tell me more.
La Malédiction belonged to my family in Catalonia in the 30s, before the Civil War.
So what was it doing here in Paris?
The fascists stole it in 1938. They killed my father, but not me. I escaped. I have been looking for it ever since. You have to help me find it.
Tell me about yourself.
I am Tiago Marquez, the rightful owner of La Malédiction. What else is there to tell?
You traveled all the way from Catalonia?
No, since the war, I've lived in France, in the southwest, and now I want the painting back.
Did you lose all your family in the Civil War?
When they came for us in 38, I fled with my mother, but my father was not so lucky.
I'm sorry.
I would have stayed and fought for freedom, but I was just a boy.
You've got my attention, but if I'm to help you, I need more to go on.
I have something. This old photograph. It is of me and my family. See the painting above the fireplace?
Yes, it's La Malédiction. The photograph suddenly appeared to link the old man to the painting.
You took the photographs at that robbery, huh?
I did, yes.
I need to see them.
Why?
Please, I must see them.
All right. Here they are. This one was rejected. Georges got in the way. Typical.
Who is this George?
Just a friend. He insured the painting.
So, he will know who is this liar who claims to own my painting.
I don't think he does. He would have told me. This is the best shot I took. They used it in the paper.
Yes, it is how I recognize La Malédiction, my painting.
It does look like the one in your photograph.
So close, but now it is lost again.
Here's the thief making off with the painting.
What is that tattoo on his arm?
Looks like a skull and crossbones. Headhunters,
You will find him, and then you will find my painting.
I can try, monsieur.
You must, mademoiselle.
This shot didn't come out too well.
It's perfect.
Perfect?
Finally, La Malédiction in all its splendor. The lines, the color, the detail. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Then take it. That shot is no good to me.
Really? Thank you, mademoiselle.
That tattoo is really quite distinctive.
Yes, but that is all there is to go on.
In front of Georges is Henri, the gallery owner. So you are certain that this is the same painting?
Of course, I do not make mistakes.
So you are certain that this is the...
Of course, I do not make mistakes.
Marquez's story was very interesting, but I needed to corroborate it. I wondered if the gallery kept ownership records. And while I didn't wholly trust him, this was the one lead that I didn't want to lose. Where are you staying?
What? Nowhere. Here, perhaps.
I didn't want him to stay in my apartment. There was another solution. My neighbor is out of town for a few days. You could stay there.
Yes, that would be good. Thank you.
Great, let's go. Adam said that he would leave the spare key under the mat. My neighbor had left a key for me under the doormat. Which reminded me I hadn't watered his plants for a week. The key wasn't there. The gap was wide, but not wide enough for my fingers. Using the sticky chewing gum, I was able to fish out the key.
This will do.
Glad it's up to standard. I have to go out, monsieur. Ronnie had promised me the front page if I got an interview with the painting's owner. And here was a crazy Spaniard claiming to be just that. I needed to find out who had put the painting up for sale. Maybe there was more to find at the gallery. Len was sitting outside the cafe. He looked dazed. Hi.
So it is you, madame. There is no coffee. It bores me now. There is cola, or beer, or champagne.
No thanks, I'll pass.
That is your choice. And you have exercised it.
Hello, Monsieur Lane.
Ah, the delectable Nicole Collard, super sleuth. How may I be of service?
I was hoping I'd find you here.
Always available for a lovely lady such as yourself.
Henri's death, it must be so very hard for you.
Yes, I shall miss him deeply. We had such a very special relationship. The loss is so hard to endure, even for a man of such inner strength as myself.
I managed to get chewing gum stuck on my press card.
What a bizarre turn of events.
That's what I thought. What do you know about the owner of La Malédiction?
That was Henri's business. He found the painting and did the deal with the owner.
Would anybody else know anything about the owner?
Not likely. He kept especially quiet about that one. But he always kept a manifest for every exhibition.
You mentioned a manifest. How would one get a look at that?
One might start in the office. That's where Henri kept most of his paperwork.
I'm writing a follow-up piece on a gallery theft.
Ah, so you need an inside view. Authoritative.
Something like that.
The police have finished in the gallery. We could chat in the office. It's much more comfortable. More intimate. I might even be able to rustle up a little bottle of champagne.
That sounds great.
We can discuss my ordeal over a glass of champagne.
A cozy chat with Lane was the last thing I wanted. But it was my best hope if I wanted to get a look around the office. So, what are we waiting for?
After you, my dear.
The place was heaving with junk. Finding what I wanted wouldn't be easy. As Lane sat down, something stuck out from beneath the cushion. It looked like a folder. Whatever it was, the police had missed it. I needed to get it.
Come, join me on the couch. I'm ready for you. You will be gentle with me, won't you?
Oh, I'm never gentle, Monsieur Lane.
Oh. Oh. Do call me Hector.
Lane hadn't noticed the folder. With that amount of padding, who would? The only way to get hold of it was to distract him. Monsieur Lane?
Hector, please.
Oh, Hector. Perhaps I will join you in that glass of champagne.
But of course, champagne, nature's balm in troubled times.
to new friends.
To love. Oh, mon Dieu, that is so cold!
Oops, silly me. I am so sorry.
I'll have to dry this off. Don't you worry, my dear.
In the folder was a list of all the paintings in the exhibition. La Malediccio had to be there. It was. And next to it was the owner's name, Mr. Medovsky. The police had obviously not spotted the folder. I put it back. I had what I needed for my story. Monsieur Lane, thanks for everything. But I think I hear my editor calling.
Ma chérie, no need to leave so soon. It's only a little spillage.
And I found out who claims to own La Malediccio. Some guy named Medovsky. Sounds Russian, right?
Medovsky, my God.
Who is he?
He's new on the oligarch block. Fresh into London from Russia, with ambition and a bloody reputation. Collard, this is way over your head. I'm gonna put a more experienced crime journalist on the story. I can't afford for you to get hurt.
Relax, Ronnie. This is my story. Leave it with me. Let's discuss it over lunch tomorrow.
Okay. But don't do anything more. See you tomorrow.
Ronnie didn't trust me on this story, but I wasn't going to let him give it to someone else. I was going to have to move fast. Come in. Hi, Georges. Great to see you.
Hope you don't mind me just dropping in.
No, not at all. How are you getting on?
Pretty good. I found the gun that was used in the robbery.
I'm impressed.
Yeah? Well, Nave wasn't. He accused me of trying to plant it, and then of being involved in Henri's death. Then he threw me into a cell. He couldn't make a stick, of course, so he had to let me go this morning. But he's convinced I'm involved. So if I put a foot wrong, he'll nail me next time. But, hey, on the bright side, have I got a story for you. Annette, the manager at Vera Security, lied about the owner of the company. When I pieced together that shredded letter, I got a name, Medovsky.
Medovsky! That's the same guy who claims to own La Malediccio.
What? He owns the painting and Vera Security? He has to be the one behind this whole scam.
You're telling me? We have to be sure.
What the?
I cannot sleep on that bed. It is too soft.
Georges, this is Senor Marquez.
Nice to meet you.
So you are this George, huh?
Senor Marquez is staying in the apartment across the hall. Apparently, he's the real owner of La Malediccio.
What? I thought you said Medovsky was the owner.
Senor Marquez claims the painting was stolen from his family during the Spanish Civil War.
Really? Do you have any proof?
Senor Marquez, could you show him the photograph?
A pair of statues stood on plinths on the mantelpiece. That's definitely La Malediccio hanging on the wall?
It belonged to my family, so it belongs to me.
The statues were quite striking. Who is this?
My father. When they came for us in 38, I fled with my mother. But my father was not so lucky.
Who's this?
My mother, a good woman, a saint.
How can we prove this is you as a child?
The dates would tie up, George.
If the painting really was stolen during the 1930s, then this Medovsky guy has no legitimate claim to it. But how can I be sure that you're the boy in that picture?
I can prove it. Look at my father in the photograph. You see the medallion he's wearing? He gave it to me just before he died. This medallion has been in our family for hundreds of years.
It's definitely the same medallion. A snake eating its own tail. That's also on the painting.
It is the Ouroboros.
The what?
The Ouroboros. It is a sign of my people, my family, my faith. The Gnostics. My father was a Gnostic leader. La Maledicción is sacred to the Gnostics. Hence they both display the Ouroboros.
A priest I met said the painting was the devil's work. A thing of evil.
Ha! He would say that. Do not believe all you hear from the church. Whatever you think, the painting is mine.
If Marquez was the true owner of Maledicción, then Medovsky had no legal claim to it. Might be tough to prove, but if I could, we wouldn't have to pay out on the insurance. So, if the painting belongs to you, how did Medovsky get it?
The fascists stole it. It went to Madrid, then Berlin, then, after the war, to Moscow. After that, it was lost, until now.
We need to talk to this Medovsky, but how do we find him? Hey, Nico?
Yes, George?
What do we know about this Medovsky character?
Ronnie said he was dangerous and very rich. He claims to be the owner of La Maledicción.
And appears to be the boss of Vera's security who were supposed to protect it. Now that kind of figures. The best way to steal something is to get hired to look after it. But why steal a painting you already own?
We need to talk to this guy.
To do that, we need to find him. So let's go over what we know about the thief.
Okay, well, he had a distinctive tattoo on one arm.
And his helmet had Waterloo Motors across it.
Not a lot to go on.
Why would somebody steal their own painting?
Insurance scam? But then why kill Henri?
I get the impression that Henri was somehow involved. I found the gun that Henri was shot with at Vera Security.
If Medovsky owns Vera Security, it means that he must know the killer.
Well, it can't be Annette, but she has to be involved in some way. You said the thief had a tattoo.
On his arm, it was a skull and crossbones with headhunters written around it.
We need to track down Waterloo Motors.
Have you tried the internet?
I've been kind of busy.
Okay, let's have a look. Waterloo Station, Battle of Waterloo, Waterloo Kebabs, Waterloo Sunset. Ah, here we go. Waterloo Motors. It's a garage in London. I'll send the number to your phone.
Here's the proof that Henri was involved in the robbery.
Interesting, but it doesn't help us find the killer.
Waterloo Motors.
Hi,
How can I help you?
my name is George Stobart. I'm investigating a murder that was committed here in Paris.
What's that got to do with us?
The guy we're looking for was wearing a helmet with Waterloo Motors on it.
Oh, yeah. It's a very popular helmet.
I don't suppose you know who might have bought one?
Well, not unless you got any more information, mate.
The killer had a tattoo on his arm. It said, Headhunters.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, he bought one of our helmets just the other day.
Terrific. Do you know his name?
Nah. He brings his boss's Merc here to have it serviced. Word to the wise, though. I hear he don't mess about. The car's registered on Dutchy Street, if there's any help. I mean, that's all I know, mate, sorry.
No, that's more than enough. You've been a great help. Thanks for your time.
See ya.
Bingo!
Good work. That has to be the guy. And now we've got his address.
How about a trip to London?
I thought you'd never ask. Senor Marquez, will you be okay here?
The bed is uncomfortable. But it will do. Come back quickly with the painting, eh?